episode number 98 of the KH-Vids podcast. This week we're going to be talking a little bit about Kingdom Hearts and then clearing out some of our user-submitted questions once again, basically because there's nothing going on in the world right now. So with us today, you have your usual hosts of myself, Misty.
And me, libregkd.
And me, Calxiyn.
As our staff guest, we have...
Krowley, and I was last minute, yay.
Yay! And as our member guest, we have...
Hi, I'm Fearless, and I've been here way too long.
Yeah, we've all kind of like been sitting here waiting to start the podcast for way too long, but also on KHV.
No, like I think I've been on KHV longer than you, Misty.
When did I join? February of 2006?
Yeah, I think I joined.
Were you on the old forum?
I was on the old forum, and then I didn't make a new account until like 2006.
Under what username? Because I have a very good memory for this.
I think it was Kingdom Key with a number after it. I don't know what the number was.
That's too generic for me to remember. Sorry.
I know, it's super generic.
I just rest in the fact that I know I'm here longer than everybody else here.
Yeah, well, okay, f*** you.
Shut up,
I said, we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts on that very classy note to transition away. We're going to be talking a little bit about Kingdom Hearts, yeah. So we know that we're going to get some new Kingdom Hearts 3 info at D23, which is in Anaheim on August 16th. Before we talk about that, I just want to clarify that there are, like, different D23s out there, and that we've been talking about them. So the one in August is in California, and they're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts 3 there, we know that. But there is also a D23 Expo in Japan later this year in November in which they are most definitely going to be talking about something Kingdom Hearts as well. So I just wanted to clarify that for everyone because I was a little confused myself. So the only mode of discussion that we're having about Kingdom Hearts here is just what do you expect that we're going to see at the D23 Expo in Anaheim next month?
I so wish
I'm
could go to
expecting
that,
world announcements. More world announcements.
Yeah, I think it's safe that we'll get either at least one more world.
I want to say 2. I'm going to put my money on 2 just because they were saying, like, E3, they seemed really confident in their world selection. That's the impression that I got. So I feel like they have some to show us. Yeah.
I'm expecting that, and I'm also expecting maybe another trailer just because we got a trailer at the last time it was at a D23. Back in 2013, I think it was.
I could see them doing, like, a quick little, like, demo of, like, hey, look at probably the Frozen world, like, look at this mountain that we're running up, like, that kind of thing. I can't see it being, like, a trailer.
Yeah, like, if you remember
like
if you remember
the
the trailer that they showed at D23 in Japan, it was very much like a minute of just, here's some gameplay stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I expect probably something similar to that. Just because that to me it does make sense for them to be there and just announce things without showing things as well.
Oh yeah. If they just said like Frozen coming to Kingdom Hearts 3, like that would be exciting but also a little boring. And I think that this poses a really good opportunity for them to show off kind of like the game engine and sort of the environmental effects. So like if they are again, I'm using Frozen as an example. Like if they show Frozen, they can say like, here's how like the snow falls and like the ice effects and stuff like that. I'm hoping
how Sora looks in the snow.
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll have more polished character models, so they'll be like more willing to not do like fast action where you can't really see what's going on. So
they have a larger
that's kind of my
scale
hope.
now. So like all the effects that they're doing right now, they said that they're really excited to like show like how crisp everything is and how like you can really see the detail with everything.
Yeah.
And how it affects the environment. That's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Another thing I'd like to see is I don't know if they'd actually do this, but I'd like to see new outfits for characters who aren't Sora. Like
Riku
maybe a
and
new
Kairi.
Riku and Kairi. Please make Kairi a playable character. That's all I want.
Yeah, I'd actually be interested if they do anything more than just some gameplay and world stuff. If they'll do anything, even a teensy bit, regarding any story or other characters.
Even just like some sketches or just like some stuff they were thinking about adding or just like really excited for.
I mean, the description that we have of Kingdom Hearts 3's plot from the Square Enix press site, so it's like official stuff, it sounds like it's going to be what most people expect, where it's like Sora, Donald, and Goofy off doing their thing, and Riku and Mickey kind of teaming up and doing their thing. So if they do show a world, I would
also
be
Kairi.
I don't know where Kairi fits into the whole thing. That's the thing. She's not mentioned, like, by name, which is troubling. Don't get me wrong. But I would like to see, if they were, like, demoing a world, for them to show, like, hey, here's Riku, like, hanging out with Elsa, and here's Sora, like, hanging out with Anna, and I feel like that could be cool.
With the Frozen world, that's always how I pictured it going, was, like, they arrive at the party, and then Riku's like, I'll go after Elsa, because, you know, we have that darkness connection thing going on, and then Anna and Sora all hanging out. But for D23, I think I'm putting my money on a lot of things that may or may not happen. So I'm guessing I'm gonna go with you, Misty, and say that there's gonna be 2 new worlds. One of them's I'm 99% sure one of them's gonna be Frozen.
Big Hero 6 world.
Big
Hero 6 world.
Maybe. What I was thinking though was Brave, actually, because somebody pointed out that there was an Archer Heartless that was shown in the trailer, and I think that we did a news report on that somewhere, and that may be interesting for them to show off, especially if the Heartless is already there. Then that means that if there is a Brave world, that they've done it somewhat. And I'm holding out hope that they tell us who Xehanort's new voice actor is, but I'm not sure.
Which one? For both?
Well, I mean, they would announce the Japanese one at the Japanese D23, wouldn't they? So maybe it's just the English.
I don't know if they even found him yet, because like there's still probably like a lot to do. They haven't really shown anybody outside like Sora in terms of new character design. As far as worlds go, though, this one's kind of a long shot, but I kind of have faith that they'll bring this one back for a few reasons. Lilo and Stitch.
Yes, please.
One because yes. First of all, because Japan loves Stitch. Like they love Stitch.
Truly, who does not love Stitch? Just
Very
go
few.
on, but
they also
terrible people hate Stitch.
They also said that they're looking forward to like more like environments that you can have fun with, like really span out, and like how they showed like Hawaii in the movies and everything like that. It was very beautiful. Like I liked to just like enjoy the scenery, and nothing was like really rugged. It was all like a very calm, and it's kind of like the Destiny Islands, but not really. And then,
how cool would it be if Destiny Islands was just like a little island off Hawaii? That was just the thing that happened.
Waka's just like, oh yeah, it's right over there.
Yeah, but go on. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, just like a closing comment thing. Because in Birth by Sleep we saw Deep Space, so like Stitch origins, and obviously I guess. Well, actually, it doesn't really clarify in the movie just how far in the distant past it was before he got to Earth, but he's clearly, I guess, already on. He dropped down in Radiant Gardens in Kingdom Hearts 2, we saw, and I guess, he could always just find his way to another world.
We don't need to worry about, like, continuity here.
I guess. I have that, like, small bit of hope where it's like, everything can fit together, but I know, like, part of me is just like, there are some things you can't.
It's a game where Donald Duck is beating up shadow creatures. What do you want?
I don't know, maybe like a new design for Donald and Goofy. Because like, they've been traveling around a lot, maybe they can get some new duds,
I was also thinking that they might, if they're gonna show a reoccurring world, if anything, that it's gonna be Aladdin, and I explained that in Bugging My World Speculations thread in here. I talked about that after, because I realized, but there was Aladdin 3, The King of Thieves, and that was it's one of the good sequels, in my opinion. The animation is whatever, because it was a sequel, but they're not actually in Agrabah. They're, I think, first they're on a boat, and then, they're in the desert trying to find the King of Thieves' hideout, and then they're on a boat, and then they're on an island. So we're very far away from Agrabah, kind of like we are in Olympus. It still has, we still know that we're in Olympus, but it's a whole different scenery. So if they're doing anything, it might be that one. And the storyline kind of, it fits very well. So I'm hoping that they do that one.
If they bring back Aladdin, I don't want it to be like a flagship world. Like they can't possibly be expecting us to be freaking out over Aladdin, because we've already had Aladdin in quite a few games. I want brand new worlds that we've never seen before.
That's the thing, like, they were very insistent that they want to bring, like, mostly entirely new worlds to Kingdom Hearts 3, so, like Fearless said, if they are advertising new worlds as, like, hey, look at what we're doing, I feel like they're gonna want to bring the new stuff.
I think if they're gonna bring any of them back, though,
Aladdin
that's probably a good candidate. That's probably one of the ones that they're that they've considered, at least, because they have done the sequels before. And I mean, my logic now is if they can do a direct to DVD, the Three Musketeers world, like I try to think about how that was even brought up with anyone, just if somebody was like, hey, you know, we should put that in here. It was so obscure that I'm just like, they can do anything now.
I really think they just wanted to fit it in, because like if you look at it, it doesn't really need to be part of the plot line, because young Xehanort doesn't even show up there at all, like at all.
It was really weird. It's just one of those things that I don't understand how it got brought up, because it's like, I have it somewhere in my house, but it was one of those things that just kind of appeared. We don't really know how it got here, and we don't really know who bought it.
But,
it just, it popped up somewhere.
If you looked at the actual like background and scenery, it was something different. It was something new. It was nice to explore around. Like, even just, well, the whole point of really Dream Drop Distance was like, oh, hey, I can bounce across walls, I can jump to new heights.
It was definitely a good choice. I don't know. I'm trying to think about that conversation.
It's just like when you look at people's like Disney World wish lists, like Three Musketeers is not exactly like up on the top.
Well, they are putting in more like recent stuff. Like they showed Tangled, that was something really recent. Like the Three Musketeers was 2008. And sorry, wait, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, in terms of recent stuff, which is why I don't think that they would bring a Brave world to D23. I definitely do want Brave in Kingdom Hearts 3 because I love Brave, but I feel like they have Tangled now announced, they have, I guess, Hercules, and I think that they're probably going to do Frozen. So I feel like if they do a second world, that it would be like some of the more older Disney, older being a relative term, I'm saying like Disney Renaissance era, probably.
Also like 90s, 2000s, somewhere around there.
I mean,
Pocahontas.
I mean, you guys know how I want Pocahontas in this game, so I'm biased.
Well, if they're branching out from plain Disney animated features, I'd like some Pixar worlds. I'd like a Toy Story world
Everyone
bad.
wants a Toy Story world.
They've been talking about a Toy Story world since Kingdom Hearts 1. I still haven't seen it.
There's the coding. I think there was some like sketch pictures a while back that were shown that showed like that they had an idea for a Toy Story world, but I guess it didn't really get past the development stage.
It didn't pan out because when Kingdom Hearts 1 was in development, Pixar had not yet been acquired by Disney. However, now that Pixar is owned by Disney, like completely, that issue no longer exists.
But to me, that's the same issue as Brave, that it's like Toy Story, of course, is older, but it's still like an animated feature, so or animated, like computer animated. So I want them to show like the diversity of the engine that they have. So like they can show, hey, this is what Tangled looks like and this is what Frozen looks like, but we're also doing like the 2D animation and giving that its own flair and its own design. You see what I'm saying? Like varying it.
I mean, if we're going with that, maybe that there's two worlds there, I almost think that they do something similar to E3 where they, hey, here's a new world, and then here's also a returning world.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's going to be more returning worlds than just Olympus Coliseum.
Oh, of course.
So I feel that it would be a better presentation where you say, like, here's the new stuff, and also here's some of the old stuff that we have. Because, I mean, you could do just all new stuff, but then when it gets to the point when you're announcing some of the returning worlds, then it's just like, oh, that's a returning world, who cares?
That's true. What do we think about original worlds being there? You know, like showing Radiant Garden or Destiny Islands or Daybreak Town?
I'd like to see more of Disney Castle. Not the town, but like the actual castle. I want to run around in the castle.
Oh my god. Is Disney Castle in Disney Town?
Yes, it's shown in the background.
Yeah.
It's on the opposite sides of the world. One half is the town, and on the other side of the world is the castle.
Oh my god.
I like that they did that because it reiterates the point more that, like, all the worlds were one giant world once, and then they split up, and somehow they split up in a way where Disney Town was so, like, disconnected to Disney Castle that they had to, like, world hop, and I don't know, I think that's always...
The actual picture of the world has town one half, castle other half.
It's been a while since I played Birth by Sleep, you guys. And I didn't spend a ton of time at Disney Town. But, yeah, like, what do you guys think about other original worlds? I mean, Disney it's, like, kind of original. It's, like, still Disney, but...
See, I have a feeling that, like, brand new original worlds aren't something they'll really talk about unless it's like a central hub, like kind of how like Twilight Town was in Kingdom Hearts 2.
I'm saying like ones we've seen before. So like they're not going to unveil ones we've seen before.
Something.
What about Daybreak Town?
That's what I'm thinking. Just because that. Okay, so this is going back to the I guess the teaser thing they showed at the 2.5 launch event back in December. How they set that up was that they showed a picture of a town that looked like Daybreak Town, and then it zoomed into like a building, and then it kind of faded away into the room where we saw Xehanort and Ericus playing chess.
Okay.
So I almost want to say that Daybreak Town is somewhat likely because we sort of already seen it in the E3 trailer, even if it was just one room.
Do you think that that's Daybreak Town is where Ericus and Master Xehanort were trained? Not necessarily where they're from, but that was where they did their training and
I think
such?
it's likely, considering that's the room that they were sitting in.
Well, if you look at the actual town picture, there's sort of like this grand chapel castle building thing in the background with like these really big window, and I can kind of picture a foyer being there and then just like playing around.
I'm just gonna say this now. Whatever that town was, they've already shown an original world.
Okay, all right.
Just because they
I mean, featuring it.
Yeah, no, I'm just
running
saying
around
in some shape or form, whatever that town is, be it Daybreak Town or something completely original, that's something that is at least for sure going to be in the game.
Yes,
of course. Because I mean, obviously most people have not seen it, but like that is going to be there in some way. I also, I almost want to say something with Castle Oblivion and / Land of Departure.
Well, I mean, if they're going back to find Ventus, they'll have to go to Castle Oblivion eventually, even if it's not
Aqua,
shown.
and Aqua has to go get him.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that maybe we get a look at sort of that in some way, just because it is something. Like, I mean, that could even be some sort of a trailer where we see it, but we don't actually go there.
For Daybreak Town, I feel like that could be interesting as, like, a kind of demo featurette thing, because it could show, like, hey, this is how, like, living and breathing our worlds are, because we all have seen, like, funny things about the Kingdom Hearts series where, like, towns are deserted, or, like, the crowd at Olympus Coliseum is completely empty, and yet the characters are saying, like, wow, look at all these people cheering, or, like, in Agrabah, when Aladdin is like, I love the life here, and the place is, like, literally deserted. So, I mean, Daybreak Town would be a good way to show, like, hey, there are NPCs walking around, there are shops you can visit, and everything is kind of in motion and fluid and stuff.
They could have also done that with Twilight Town, though.
Twilight Town did have people walking around in it. Like, it wasn't fully populated, but that was kind of more due to the PS2
There were actually
graphical
people in the Struggle Tournament audience. Like, there were actually people clapping.
But that's exactly my point. That's saying, like, we were limited in the past with the PlayStation 2, and that's why things were, but, like, hey, look at how good we're doing now.
Yeah, granted, what we've seen of Twilight Town, it's been just battle after battle after battle.
Yeah, I was going to say that the parts of Twilight Town that they're showing right now were not even populated on the PS2, just because I think that has more to do with the, oh look, there's these strange creatures attacking, because wherever they didn't attack, obviously there would be people there because, I don't know, they fled or
That's
whatever.
actually something I would love to see, like when Heartless appear in like a town, like watching NPCs like run away. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
we got
They did that once in the first game.
Yeah, I thought that was such a cool
moment.
I thought that was so impressive, because it's like that whole, you know, show don't tell, where Kingdom Hearts 1 is kind of guilty of this, where they have Leon like explain the entire lore of what's going on.
Exposition.
But they have it, you know, smack you in the face the minute you land in the world. Like, this is what a threat the Heartless are, and this is what they're doing by showing that. So, I think that could go a long way.
Though I have to wonder, I mean, I'm assuming this is just because of, like, demo purposes, or just because there was something easy to build, or I don't know, but I always found it curious that Twilight Town was the first world they kind of showed. And, like, part of me wants to say that that's just because that was just a literal, like, tech demo, and, like, hey, let's build a world. Oh, Twilight Town seems easy to build. It's a bunch of buildings. It's a bunch of, like, flat squares. Like,
well, I wonder if what they did, at least just for the tech demo, I wonder if they just took the old Kingdom Hearts 2 models and just retextured it, just to use it for the demo.
Well, it wasn't actual gameplay. I know that. Like,
Well,
it was
yeah,
just,
yeah,
like, an
it
actual
was
video.
just used just for the video.
It was just for the video, but I mean, it
it's
just
still
seemed
something
weird.
that you have to model out and everything.
And not only that, but we know, at least in some capacity, Twilight Town is going to be in the game, considering it was just in the last E3 trailer as well. So it always struck me as a bit odd.
It is strange now that you're pointing it out, yeah.
If you remember,
There's also a good chance that Roxas is going to be in the game in some way.
That is true, but
I mean, I've talked about this before, that the theory that Daybreak Town is really just changed, or wait, other way around, that Twilight Town is really like not reverted, but switched Daybreak Town, and how Master Xehanort and Ericus's little room is in the mansion, in that part that's blocked off, and all the stuff with the unicorns and everything like that. I don't remember which podcast episode that was, but that was definitely something that was mentioned.
That's what I was going to bring up. Like, even if Cal's theory is not true, which I'm not throwing any shade on your theories, but like, even if it's not true, there is still the mansion, which we talked about, which we think, holds some secrets still. So Twilight Town existing just for that reason would make sense.
I mean, even if Xehanort and Ericus or whatever, they are not there, or they were never there, I should say, because that clip was in the past, obviously. There's still Nominee's room, which I always thought was interesting, because that's kind of where she had all of Sora's memories and stuff in, other than, I guess, in the computer.
like I always figured Nominee's room in the mansion was just modeled after Castle Oblivion, because they transported her there from Castle Oblivion.
But
so
see, that's another interesting point about Twilight Town. Like, it has to connect to Castle Oblivion in some way for them to transfer that pod, so it might be a good way for them to get back into Castle Oblivion. And what was the other one? And it also connects to Yensid's Tower.
Yeah, Yensid's Tower is a bit interesting. But, I mean, like, the transporting thing, I don't expect that to really mean anything. I mean, we have gummy ships.
Could, though.
I mean, the transporting thing that I just kind of thought of this now, that if it was Daybreak Town originally, then the transporting thing would kind of make sense, because Yensid is supposed to be this, like, all-powerful wizard, so, like, I don't know, Ericus and Xehanort's master, like, sending them to Yensid to get a good talking to when they do something bad or something would make a lot of sense on the train. Yeah.
Another thing I'm curious about is we have a lot of trios in this game, yeah?
Yep,
so if there's Ericus and there's Master Xehanort, who is the third person in their trio if they have one?
Well, I mean, it could have been Yensid. Yensid's he's pretty old, but I don't think he's Ericus old, so that might be a little bit
He's
of
also
a...
not really a Keyblade master.
Or a girl. That's the pattern, right?
Why do you know that? Maybe he is a girl.
That's like Xehanort's whole, like, thing for turning to the darkness. Like, Ericus stole his girl or something. I can see that happening.
If we find out that they're, like, fighting over some woman that's been fridged by the Kingdom Hearts storyline, I will literally vomit all over this website.
That sounds pretty goddamn awful.
It would kind of make, I don't know, like, a sense, at least in my mind, to have that be the reason, because then you have kind of the connection with Aqua being the girl that kind of tore Terra's and Ven's.
But
I'm
that's not
all
even
of their
true.
friendships apart. That was a bit different, though. That wasn't romantically. That was a bit of an accident. And then Xion kind of did the same thing with Roxas and Axel, because Roxas got all pissy at Axel for keeping secrets about Xion and all that. Kairi hasn't really done anything bad yet. But,
well, the first game was very much...
She hasn't had a chance to do anything is the problem.
Well, yeah, because she's been,
now
like,
sleeping.
Riku got kind of angsty about her, and that's why Riku's whole thing about kind of stabbing Sora in the back. So I don't know, maybe that there was a girl that Xehanort and Ericus
now all I can do is just picture,
like,
old Xehanort.
I hate that you're suggesting this, by the way.
I know, it's very cliche, and that's why I think it's so funny, because, like, for something like Kingdom Hearts to do that, I can just picture old Xehanort just, like, yelling at Ericus. It's like, she was supposed to be mine!
I mean, I don't know.
Really good...
it does fit. It's cliche, but Kingdom Hearts is...
Can we drop this, please? This is just awful. This is awful. You're making me hate the series now.
And then they would have that same scene where he's, like, lying down, and it's like, Ericus, you lazy bum. And then it just keeps doing it, and it's an endless cycle of just, yep. It's
I'm
gonna
gonna
happen.
vomit.
Fanfics of
I
it will
am
happen.
literally going to vomit.
Oh,
Like the way Ericus just said, I hope so.
So we'll see
No, wait,
what
Xehanort
happens
said
at
so.
D23.
What if we get to play as Ericus?
Maybe
We will
Ericus is
see
dead.
what happens.
No one dies in Kingdom Hearts. That was established.
Xion apparently did.
No.
in that weird way of
She
dying,
lives
but not
on in their
subtly.
memories.
Well, nobody can remember her though, so I don't think
That's
that's,
true.
a good.
That's true.
Kingdom Hearts is gonna be a religion now, where nobody believes they can die. They just like become a part of somebody else.
Well, that already happens all the time. Yeah. So we'll see what happens at D23. We kind of got a little off topic there, but we don't really have a topic.
Like D23, it was kind of a surprise, almost kind of a surprise that they announced that they're going to be at the
Anaheim
American one. Like,
yeah, because I assumed that would be all Star Wars, not just because Battlefront is coming out, but because Star Wars Celebration is also in Anaheim, and I linked them in my brain.
To be fair, Anaheim is where Disneyland is located. So
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Like where they're holding
My
this.
California geography is.
Yeah, I know. Like where they're holding this event is right across the street from Disneyland.
Oh wow.
So like
I mean,
it's
that
one
makes
of the.
sense.
It's one of the reasons I wish I could go, because it's so close. But like tickets right now are $75, and I'm like, no, thank you. Because yeah, they're showing off Kingdom Hearts 3, they're showing off Battlefront as well, and they're showing off Disney Infinity 3.0 edition, Star Wars.
So I mean, we're not pretending that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to have some like enormous this is not Kingdom Hearts 3 the event.
Yeah, it is.
D23 in Japan maybe will be that.
Yeah, it's a pleasant surprise that we're actually getting more info.
Yeah, in a month. In a month we're going to have Kingdom Hearts 3 info. Let's rejoice.
This will be
Rejoice, for it has been 10 years.
Yeah, they did say we were going to get a lot of news in 2015, so I'm guessing they had this for a while coming, just to like prepare and showcase whatever they're really proud of and what they really want to stick with.
And not just that, but the clock is ticking, guys. It's almost August.
Yeah, I mean it's just this entire Kingdom Hearts 3 making the rounds at various events because it's supposed to have a limited capacity showing at Gamescom as well. Mm-hmm. That's 4 events and actually almost makes me believe a 2016 release date.
No, you're dreaming, buddy.
Maybe it'll come out before Final Fantasy 15. Imagine if Kingdom Hearts 3 came out before 15.
Somebody tweeted about that today. I can't remember who.
It was Kagari.
Yes, it was.
Yes. Imagine if Kingdom Hearts 3 came out before 15.
Oh boy.
That would just be... I mean, it would give Square another opportunity to bundle a 15 demo with a game. But, it's... I can almost see that as a possibility, and that kind of...
It's frightening.
Scares me. That kind of scares me.
I'm just kind of waiting for the inevitable Kingdom Hearts 3 PS4 bundle.
That would be...
I don't think that's
I really
gonna
want that bad.
Are you really? You really
I
don't
want
think that's
that.
gonna happen? Considering
I want
Square
that.
has
I want it too. I don't have a PS4 right now, so if they
I'm waiting for
made
Kingdom Hearts
a
3 before I get a
custom Kingdom
PS4.
Hearts 3 PlayStation thing with the game in it and all that, I'd be a happy Cal.
But this is a problem because I only need one PS4.
Just to give you a little highlight, for Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns, the PS3 has gotten in a custom PS3.
But those have been Japan exclusive.
True, but PS4s are region free.
That's true.
And this year they've released a custom Dragon Quest PS4, and
But that is Japan exclusive as well.
region free at least.
Okay, all right. But who the hell wants to import something?
I mean, if you really want a custom console,
It's just a pain in the patoot. I don't need that.
So, going off of all this, I'm expecting a custom 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 console. Whether they release in other regions, I don't know.
I mean, it would make whichever one comes out first, Kingdom Hearts 3 or 15. It would make sense for them to have a custom console just because those are the games that they're trying to throw at Japan and say, hey, the PS4 is a viable console that you should buy.
Hey, we've been waiting for these games for 10 years.
But, the PS4 hasn't caught on in Japan, and that is because there hasn't been, a Final Fantasy on it. So when Final Fantasy 15 comes out, there absolutely will be a huge surge of sales of the PS4 in Japan. So for them to bundle one, it'll be hey, get your custom PS4, and also get a PS4.
Yeah, but I mean, they'll do it for all of them because no matter what, you do not understand.
I'm just sour because
like,
I already have a PS4 and I'm already tempted by all the custom ones.
Like, you don't understand how, like, Japan and their custom consoles, they will just buy again.
I know,
like,
Japan.
Like, out of everything, like, I'm also expecting, okay, this hasn't been announced, but I'm also expecting Dragon Quest XI to get announced for the PS4 sometime in the near future. And, like, that is probably going to also get a custom console, and that will probably also be the highest selling game on the PS4 if that happens.
I want a Final Fantasy VII PS4 with like Cloud's hair sticking off of it and like
well, did you see the Dragon Quest Heroes ones they did?
No,
they had
I have
like
not.
they had an actual slime.
Oh man.
It's a enemy in the game, but they actually had a metal slime that like hangs off of the console.
Like a cell phone charm for your console. Thank you, Japan, for being Japan.
It's just it looked pretty good.
Yeah, so let us know what you guys are expecting to see at D23, and let us know how many worlds and what worlds you think will be unveiled. I know that we're like always talking about like what's your Kingdom Hearts 3 world wish list, but it never gets old to talk about it.
Especially when you set your expectations to realistic levels.
Oh yeah,
Big Hero 6 world.
It's one of the most fun things about a new Kingdom Hearts game, I think, coming out. That, like, there are worlds that you just always want to see, and everybody has their favorite Disney movies, and I love just, like, watching somebody put the case for, like, this is why I think that this Disney movie that I love should be in Kingdom Hearts. I love reading that. I love it. My
reasoning is usually just like, because I want it.
Yeah.
My reasoning is how much they can incorporate, like, the emotions and just themes of heart involved. Like, Pocahontas,
usually it does boil down to... I want it.
You said you really wanted Pocahontas, right? I think that is still kind of possible because just
calm down.
Calm down. Like,
it's Pocahontas.
The thing with the new Disney worlds is though, like we're kind of on a timeline, sort of, and after they're done with Sora, they can always go and do the new worlds. But the movies that have the sequels, like if they really want to do them, they kind of have to do them now.
There is no sequel to Pocahontas, though. It doesn't exist.
I mean, in general, like any of the they
Misty,
can't.
you're
Aladdin
in such
3
denial.
Or the Cinderella 3 that we were talking about that would work with the time travel thing.
A twist in time.
Maybe last yes. I mean, we have a cap sort of like we can go back in time with Xehanort and Arrakis and have their own game with the Pixar stuff because that doesn't really affect the timeline too much. But like Lilo and Stitch, that is anything already been featured, kind of has a time limit on it now.
But they could just so easily say, "Hey, Sora is traveling through time now."
As a TARDIS.
We would all be very upset with them for doing that, and it would suck. But they could do it.
I wonder if I could make a TARDIS out of the gummy ship builder.
I'm sure somebody out there has tried.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys are expecting at D23 Expo. And now we're going to move on to kind of the second portion of the KH-Vids podcast where we're going to blow out a bunch of our user-submitted questions. So to submit a question to the KH-Vids podcast, all you have to do is fill out the form linked with every episode of the podcast or send an email to podcast@KH-Vids.net. The questions can be directed towards the host in particular or the group in general. So the first question comes from Al215, or Cal's boyfriend, and he asks, when can we expect the KOTOR fan podcast? And this is a question that I'm posing to Cal. When can we expect the KOTOR fan podcast? Because when are you going to play it?
I feel like I'm being called out.
You are being called out. You're very perceptive.
I didn't know that he asked the podcast a question.
This was like a couple months ago. I've been sheltering you for a while. I wanted to give you a chance.
Eventually. When there's no Kingdom Hearts news things.
That is not a promise
today
that
could
you
have
should
been
make.
a KOTOR podcast, but it
but
wasn't.
You have to play it first.
Yeah, that might help.
Just please play Knights of the Old Republic, Cal and everyone. So the next question is from Graxy, and it's been a while since we answered a Graxy question. He asks, how do you make a habanero pepper flan topped with chocolate and whipped cream?
Oh, habanero peppers are so hot.
I'm gonna say...
Ask Pinterest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say go out and buy a habanero pepper flan and buy chocolate and whipped cream and put it on there.
Why would you ruin chocolate?
Is that a thing that's flanned? Like,
yeah, you can just buy flan.
What is flan exactly? Also, besides an enemy in Final Fantasy,
it's like a I'm not sure. It's like a Mexican cakey, spongy thing.
To me, it was always like rich people dessert. So
it is not rich people dessert. I would not consider rich people dessert.
Really? What am I thinking of?
I'm reading it's custard. Sorry, it looks like a cake because it's like it's formed.
It's in a mold, I think.
Yeah, it's in a mold, so it's like
yuck.
I think I'd just turn it all into a truffle or something.
I would just rather eat the chocolate and whipped cream.
Like I only know
the habanero pepper.
Like I know flan is kind of it's everywhere in the world, but I mostly know it for its like I guess the Mexican variant of it because of where I'm located. So there's a lot of just like cinnamon and like other like those type of spices in it, which is actually really good.
The only time I've ever seen it was on that one episode of Rugrats where Angelica ordered all of the desserts.
The only episode of Rugrats that's seared in my memory is the one where Chucky swallows the watermelon seed and they have to go into his innards because the watermelon is going to grow in him. That one frightened me as a child, and so I just always remember it. Also crying during both the movies, so that's...
I don't even remember the movies. I know I've seen them, but
they're fucking heartbreaking.
Amazing.
Busta Rhymes was doing music in the first one. There was a Busta Rhymes song in the Rugrats movie, yes.
I'm pretty sure Angelica also sang a Blondie song in the first Rugrats movie.
I actually do remember that. I do remember that. That's
Which one?
One Way or Another?
Yeah.
Oh.
It would be one of her popular one.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah.
It'd be either like that or like I don't know what else.
I can't see Heart of Glass really. Like,
yeah, I know. I was about to say
with Rugrats, but then
I was about to say Heart of Glass, but then I'm like, well, I don't know.
Whoever thought that One Way or Another was going to be in a Rugrats movie before it happened? So the next question is also from Graxy, and he asks, "Are any of you guys dragoons? Because there's a dragon war going on up north. If you hadn't noticed." This question made me think about Final Fantasy XIV, and then I got sad because I missed Final Fantasy XIV, and also I was doing a crossword puzzle at work today, and one of the clues was like a thing of gold, and the answer was ingot, and then I thought of when you were a goldsmith in Final Fantasy XIV, and basically I just miss Final Fantasy XIV a lot.
Come back.
I wish I could, especially with like Heaven's Word coming out, but I don't have the money for this,
that's true.
and I want it back.
It's great. I need another, like, I've tried doing some quests with randoms, and like half the time it does not work out. Like it's weird. Like half the time when I'm first doing something, I'm always paired up with like people who like know their and I get really like frightened by that because I'm a tank, and if I mess up, things just go horribly wrong.
Yeah. Why do you think I stopped playing? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, thanks. But then like after failing like a bunch of times then I'm going in with randoms, and all of a sudden I'm like the expert. And though I'm not really an expert because I haven't beaten it yet, but I'm the most, like, experienced in this dungeon.
There really is, like, two extremes. There's people that have no clue, like, what the is going on, and you're like, how the hell did you make it to a level 40 dungeon? And then there's the people that are like, we're speedrunning this I'm just here for the dungeon loot. If you're not okay with that, you can drop right now and find another group. And I'm like, why did you not use the party finder? The next question is from Bucephalus? How do you say this username? Bucephalus?
Yes.
Syphilis.
Okay.
Yes.
I know that they're like a member on the forums, and they have been for a while. Like of course I recognize who it is, but I just always pronounce it in my head as Buse and just ignored the rest.
Yeah,
so
that's how I do with a few usernames where I'm like, oh, I recognize this, but I've never actually pronounced the name. I just like make up
pronunciations for a lot. Yeah, but they ask, all right, so hypothetical question here. You're sitting there running a lemonade stand, minding your own business. Out of the corner of your eye, you see something. You look over, and out of nowhere, a duck walks up to you and is like, yo, dog, got any grapes? Now, you don't know if grapes are, like, street for crack or if he has the wrong kind of fruit for this stand, and you're just sitting there confused. How do you respond?
I'll just give him some grapes. Like, I mean, if a duck asks me for something, I guess I'll give it to it, because...
Just, like, scurry into the house?
What's the worst that could happen? Like, I don't know. Like, what if I don't give him grapes? He'll be pissed off at me, and I don't want a duck pissed off at me because ducks are frightening.
I would probably check what's in my lemonade and then maybe call animal control, because that shouldn't be happening.
I hear this, I won't call it a question, but I just hear this line of dialogue all the time because I talk to bees frequently, and so I'm like,
is this
done.
is this like a thing that he asks? Yo, dog, got any grapes?
No. Like the whole duck thing.
That would be a great,
like the whole
line.
start to finish of the question, and I'm pretty sure he does it just to bug me because that's just our relationship.
This is a question that he asks a lot. That's
like when we're in calls and stuff, he'll start saying it, and I'm just like, okay, because he knows that it annoys me. So yes.
Oh, okay. If that's
Ducks.
what he's
I would
into.
probably start speaking a different
Wait.
language.
What did he say, and what was the question?
Yo, dog, got any grapes? That's what the duck says to you, and you're confused, and how do you respond?
Oh,
So
okay.
Fearless would start talking in a different language.
I would start talking in different languages, or I don't know what other languages I would start speaking, because I don't know what language the duck speaks, but I
Swahili.
would start speaking a different language so that I could confuse the duck, and maybe he'll just leave.
A counterattack. That's a bold move.
Why are we treating the duck as an enemy?
I mean, what kind of grapes does this duck want? Does he want red grapes or green grapes or like soft grapes?
If he just says grapes, I'm just giving him the first grape I see.
I know, but
And
like
if he
everybody has
complains,
a
you say,
preference.
just, when life gives you grapes, make grape
Duck soup.
bait. Whoa.
So, wait, am I allowed to answer this?
No, Crowley. You're the only one that's excluded from user-submitted questions. That's the rule.
Very well.
How would you respond, Crowley?
All right, so duck walks up to me and says, "Yo, dog, do you have any grapes?" Is that it?
Yes.
I'm just supposed to respond something?
Yes.
Okay. Hell no, we ain't got no grapes up in here. I don't know. Like if he talks to me that way, I feel like just like relating to him just by talking back in that way, kind of just like I don't know. Maybe there's just like a built-in relationship upon that. Either I scare him away, or we get to talking. Either way, just the duck isn't bothered by grapes.
It seems I'm the only one here who's trying to satisfy the duck.
That probably says a lot about our
He brings
outlook
his
on
duck
life.
friends, and then you have a duck.
You give a mouse a cookie.
Okay, yes, I was just gonna. This question even come from? Because I've heard a couple of people like say the whole thing.
Several
with the
people
lemonade
have
stand.
asked this to you, Cal?
Yes, or have at least said it.
Who do you
hanging
associate
out with?
with?
The people in the RP arena.
Stay out of there.
Kidding, guys, I love you.
The lesson that we're taking from this is that the RP arena is a fucking cult, and you should stay away from these people. The next question is from Quilligan, or Drew, and I might have read this before, but I just want to address it again. It's directed towards me, and he asks, how do you feel about how Life is Strange Episode 3 ended? What are some predictions you may have on the next episode, and what is your guess as to Max's next power-up?
When is episode 4 coming out?
Yes, that is a pertinent question, but I also just want to, address the moratorium that we've put on all, Life is Strange discussion on this podcast. I love Life is Strange. Life is Strange is awesome. Life is Strange is my favorite thing happening in gaming right now, but we don't want to talk about Life is Strange until we do a spoiler cast on Life is Strange, and we're not going to do a spoiler cast on Life is Strange until all 5 episodes are out. We just decided that would be the easiest and safest way to do it because we don't want to spoil anything for anyone on the podcast. So I can't talk about Life is Strange right now, but maybe post in the Life is Strange thread because I will absolutely reply to that. And the last question that I'm going to ask on this episode of the podcast is from Tail. We have other questions on the user-submitted questions backlog, so, if your question wasn't asked yet, don't get, disappointed, but I just want to save some in case we don't get enough by next week. So the last question I'm going to ask this week is from Tail, and he asks, and this is frankly torture, so screw you, Tail, if you could date one fictional character, who would it be and why?
There's so many options here.
I know.
I can't answer this question because I'm already in a relationship. So
With Garrus?
No, I have a girlfriend.
Okay, well.
That's not going to stop Misty.
I have a boyfriend and he listens to the podcast. He knows. Somebody else can go before me.
I my first instinct.
Cal
is
has
to
a boyfriend
say,
too.
Yes, I do. Is to say the Michael Arden version of Quasimodo from the stage show of Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's I don't know why. That's just me.
But
I mean, it's still a fictional character technically, but it I don't know.
He's real.
I guess. I mean,
he's a human being.
Yes, I know. Like the portrayal of the character, I guess. If that makes any sense.
That's actually kind of hilarious that you say that because I have a problem, and it's called spending all my money to go to Disney World every year. And in the times that I'm not at Disney World, when I'm just, hanging to life by a thread, I read the Disney World Yik Yak. And one of the posts on the Disney World Yik Yak this week was, what Disney character would you have sex with? And the first comment was, I hope someone says Quasimodo. And then, the third comment was, Quasimodo, I want to rub his hump. And just now that you're saying that, it's just a lot of Quasimodo mental images that I never needed.
I think I'm scarred for life now, but thank you.
I'm sorry for ruining Quasimodo.
It's okay. But I mean, I guess he's still technically a fictional character because, I mean, movie characters, they're still portrayed by real people too, and I guess people still do that. Like, I don't know, Hazel in The Fault in Our Stars. I mean, she's a real person, so I don't know.
I don't like Shailene Woodley, though.
Yeah.
Crowley, how about you?
Fictional character, any fictional character to date?
Anything.
Anything?
I mean, anyone. I mean, also thing if that's what you're into, but...
That is...
I changed my mind. I know who I'd date.
You go first. Go ahead.
Tadashi.
Who is that?
Tadashi Hamada.
The Hero 6
okay.
is the one that,
I still
the
haven't
older
seen
he's the one
brother.
that doesn't
I haven't
show
seen
up
it yet!
in the
Shut
end of the
your
movie.
mouth!
He's not
He's the older brother of the main character, and he's pretty hot.
Alright. Crowley?
I'm still thinking. That's a question. That's odd. Is there some sort of answer that's an entity that can just be everyone? No, just everyone. Just I don't care, man, woman. Just throw them all in there.
I guess.
I mean, you could say Sora
answer.
or Xehanort and just not say which one.
No. Xehanort and I would have too much of a power struggle. It wouldn't work.
Oh wow! All right, these images.
He and I want different things.
This is a PG-13 podcast, so let's keep that in mind, also.
Really? I'm the one that never swears.
Yeah, it's the height of irony for me to be reprimanding somebody for this, because I'm the one that takes it there. But yeah.
Yeah, with you and your Quasimodo comment.
These are the things that happen on the Disney World Yik Yak. It's not my fault.
I should try Yik Yak.
Oh man, I spent too much time on the Disney World Yik Yak.
I can easily just go to Disneyland Yik Yak and see how that compares.
My peaks are my college, Magic Kingdom, and Walt Disney World.
It's really bad. I didn't know about Yik Yak until my last semester of university. And
it didn't really take off until around then. Yeah, but what fictional character would you get it on with, Nick? Or date? I mean, you don't have to get it on if you don't want to. You can wait until the third date if you want. Sorry,
just keep them curious.
I'm sorry.
This is actually surprisingly a difficult question.
Right?
My initial I don't want to say multiple people because I feel like I should only say one instead of saying
polyamory is okay, Nick, if that's what you're
I shouldn't be able to say this one, but I would also do this and this.
I said everyone because I don't like saying no to people.
That's the problem with this question. You can only pick one person. There's so many people.
My instinct would say Marceline, but I've also thought about Tali from the Mass Effect series.
I really thought you were gonna say Tali. So
yeah, I really like Marceline as.
I love Marceline is just so chill. You kind of just want to hang out with her.
Yeah,
dating her would be complicated, not just because she already has a girlfriend. She's
that is true.
But she's a little bit emotional, and I mean that's fine. Of course, emotional people can be in relationships, and if you don't have emotions, that's kind of a bigger problem. But dating her would be complicated. I feel like Tali is just a better fit for you. So if I'm answering the question for Nick,
thank you.
Well, because you and Tali are
she
both
just wants
really
Marceline
big
to
nerds.
herself.
So you and Tali could make cool machines, and also I want Marceline to myself.
But then my third thing was because I've recently been playing through
Persona.
Persona, yeah.
Persona 3, actually.
I know.
And, like, Mitsuru is an interesting person in that she is both, like, oblivious to everything and determined in everything as well. And I don't know, Mitsuru is an interesting person, and that would be just... If it was just a date, that'd be interesting. Like, if it was just one date or something like that, that would be interesting. But, like, I'm just thinking about Mitsuru right now, and, like, she has, like, no idea about anything. Like, I was playing Persona 4 Arena, which, like, I guess that takes place, like, 4 years after the end of Persona 3. And she's just, like, in the most ridiculous outfit, and she has no fashion sense whatsoever, and she has her, like, public maids that, like, actually choose out her outfit for her all the time, except for this one instance, and it's just a train wreck, and it's just kind of great in weird ways. But yeah, it would be Marceline first, then probably Tali, and then Mitsuru.
Right. Me. I have this... What?
Marceline.
I do love Marceline. I get very attached to fictional characters, and I have many imaginary relationships with fictional characters, and this is a difficult question for me. It's taxing my spirit, honestly. So, like, as much as I would love to say Marceline or PB, like, my problem with that is that me taking one of them would break the two of them up, and they're too perfect together for that. And, like, of course, polyamory is fine if that's what you're into, but I know that I am extremely monogamous, so I could not do that. So I can't say PB and Marceline, as much as I love them, as much as I'm sitting here with both my Funko Pop figures of them on my desk and my PB and Marceline bracelets on. I cannot say... You bought me the Funko Pop figures. Well,
Yeah.
actually, you were the first person to buy them for me.
Yes.
So, like, I can't say PB and Marceline, as I'm looking at the art of PB and Marceline that Nick made me.
Oh, yeah, that is also something I made.
Yeah, a lot of things. There's also Liara, of course, who is so high in my heart and my regard for Mass Effect. But I can't say Liara either, because, first of all, Liara is with Shep, and secondly...
No, she isn't.
Stop. And secondly... This is the conflict that I have with Liara, and it's also the conflict I have with Bastila from Knights of the Old Republic. I feel that I'm too similar to them. It's like that struggle of life goals or wife goals. I feel too similar to them to say that I would date them, because that sounds like I would just date myself, and that's too narcissistic even for me. So I have trouble with that. So that brings me to the answer that I'm gonna say is my final answer for this question.
Curious now.
Brock from Pokemon.
That's fantastic.
Brock from Pokemon is probably my original childhood crush. I was so in love with Brock. I used to carry around a little trading card of Brock with me. I had it in a fancy case. I loved him that much. And I remember it so clearly. The front of it had him standing there, and the back of it had him in his apron with the teapots that he carries around. And that was a big part of it. That I like that Brock is this, like, serious breeder and gym trainer. But he also has that sensitive side to him, and you know that he would just be so dedicated to you and in love with you and nice to you. He is good with children. He can cook. He really is like the ultimate husband. I've put a lot of thought into my life.
I see you pulling his ear along when he's like misbehaving too.
I can't argue with that, because I used to do the exact same thing with Ash.
But Ash would not be a good life partner.
Well, I know that now, but whatever.
Misty face long term.
Oh yeah, I don't
years
date
old,
people.
I mean, to be fair, wasn't this question just a date?
Yeah, well, if you could date, it's saying not just go on one date, but date, which to me is like a fairly regular thing. And I don't do like casual relationships. I'm in or I'm out. So like date to me is like, where in this? And Brock to me is that, I mean, that case in point, as a child, I was fantasizing about somebody who has good husband traits. Like, this is not, I'm very in love with him.
You're an interesting person, Cassie.
So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We don't judge.
How did you feel when he was replaced with Tracy in this series?
Do you know how much I hated that? Do you know how angry I was at Professor Ivy and how much I hated Tracy? Like, Orange Islands was a great arc, but I was livid. I don't think I stopped crying for a couple days. So that is my answer. I'm sorry to my boyfriend. But you all should know that...
Does your boyfriend have good husband traits?
Does he have several brothers and sisters?
Who he takes care of and travels with children.
Is he willing to have his eyes constantly closed?
Surgically closed just so that he can resemble Brock for me.
I know this will probably break whatever pairings people have in their minds, but if I could just date one person in just fictional media, I don't know, Aqua, because I just thought of Aqua for a minute, and I just want to picture this girl, like, in a beautiful dress.
That's so cute. That's adorable, like that. Crowley.
Thank you.
That's so sweet.
She looks so pretty in it, too.
She does look pretty.
She does.
Yeah. Okay. And since I feel like it, we're going to ask a Table Topics. Table Topics, for those who don't know, is a condescending gift that my stepmom gave to me a couple years ago. Because when we're at the dinner table and nobody's talking, I say, "What's everyone been reading?" and then laugh a lot. So
because nobody reads.
I read. You guys, I always have a book I want to talk about.
I have an entire bookshelf full of books.
Are we supposed to be laughing now or no?
No, you don't have to laugh at me. Because then it would be like I was at my dad's house and then I would have to start crying and stop showering. So...
Oh.
Yeah. Alright, so Table Topics. Let's see. Here we go. Can you tell if someone is lying or telling the truth, and if so, how?
Just
tics. So sometimes people have certain tics when they lie.
What are some examples?
Twitching. Twitching is a big one.
That's really bad for me because my eye has been twitching a lot for no reason the past week, and it's actually starting to concern me.
Have you been sitting in the dark a lot and looking at screens?
That is a very distinct possibility.
Another, if we're just listing off tics, pupil dilation, sweat, nostrils flaring. I don't know if you can't really see it, but sometimes they'll just maybe have a pure neck vein or something, and they'll just start thumping or something.
Crowley looks for their thumping neck veins when he's trying to find out if somebody's lying.
No. Mostly it's just any facial tics, really. Also verbally, if they're just trying to dance around the question, or if they keep a really distinctly odd eye contact with you.
Yeah. What if somebody's telling the truth? How do you tell that?
I don't know. They seem more relaxed. They seem more calm and confident in their answers.
I don't have enough interaction with people. I was just
gonna say that
because Nick has been sitting in the dark looking at screens.
I don't really either. I'm just observant. I don't really
It's not even me being observant. It's just I don't remember the last time I saw another person.
Exactly.
Wow.
I've been in the house for 23 days, and the only people I've seen are related to me. That's probably
you guys need to go outside. Okay, that is. What I'm telling you now.
It's more that I don't have enough interaction with people where they're lying to me.
Okay.
In so much that there's not an opportunity for them to lie. It's it's the stupidest weird small talk.
But see, I lie about things for dumb reasons. I don't know why I do it. This is my problem with this question, that I assume everyone is lying because I lie about everything and I don't know what's wrong with me. I do it, and it's not even entertaining for me. I just do it. If somebody asks me, what did you have for breakfast this morning? And I had waffles, I'll say cereal. I don't know why.
I do that too, Misty. So I feel pain, and I don't understand it either. It's one of those weird things that happens. Maybe it's just my own social awkwardness that I panic and I can't figure out what to say, so I'll say the first thing that comes to my mind instead of the actual answer.
I don't think it's that,
I struggle.
Misty, would they judge you if they knew you had waffles in the morning?
There's no thought that goes into it, though. It's just automatic. And then the thought that goes into it is that okay, yesterday I lied and said I had cereal, so now I need to change it from that, because if I say that I had cereal twice in 2 days, they're gonna think that that's suspicious. And it goes on. I don't know why I do it.
Okay, so the second part of my answer was that I do talk to people online a bit, and I have the same thought process as you, where I think people lie all the time because I lie about just random bullshit that has no meaning whatsoever. So
And you're just why am I doing this?
Like, yeah, what
is wrong with me?
That is the exact question I ask myself, like, the second I say something that I know is a lie. Because it's like, what did I gain out of this? I gained nothing out of this.
Yeah, like they say, like, well, where were you? I'm like, oh, I was on the toilet. I went to get a glass of water. Like, why change that? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Are we talking about just online?
No,
just in general.
Time.
Like,
I sometimes do something similar. It's not that I'm actually lying. It's that I omit things as a form of lying.
I don't consider that lying.
It's just not the whole truth.
Yeah.
It's not a lie. It's just not it.
But it's like, there's no reason not to tell someone the whole truth, but for some reason I'll still omit certain things from my explanation of something.
That's just being selective. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, good.
Absolutely fine.
I'm kind of like
I wanted
Nick
your
in the
guys'
sense
approval.
that there's no reason for anybody to be lying to me, but at the same time, like, forgive me for sounding like a very lonely person, but since my break started, which was a month ago, none of my friends have called me, and, so I don't really have the opportunity to go out face to face. I mean, with anyone that would lie, I mean, not that my friends are, like, horrible liars or anything, but again, the only people I've really seen are my mom and my sister, and they don't really lie. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do. But there's nothing for them to lie to me about. So, yeah. But usually I can tell, even if it's online, just how people speak sometimes. Just, I'm like, yeah, what are you not telling me? Because I don't know. I have a really good sensor for it, but I haven't really.
You're a lie detector.
Like,
yes.
I mean, I think this would go for anybody for the most part. But, like, I'm not so good at telling if somebody is like, oh yeah, you are definitely lying at me just because I assume they lie. But, like, the only way I can really do that is with people I know really well.
Oh yeah.
But, like, I think that's kind of true for pretty much anybody. If you know them really well, you would hope that you can tell they're lying to you.
You would hope that they're not lying to you.
Yeah,
just
you
in
would
general.
hope they're not lying to you. But if they are, you could hope that you can tell that they're probably not telling you something.
But I also am a really good liar because I do it all the time. So that's troubling to me. That's, like, not something I should brag about.
How often do you lie to me?
Not often. Yeah.
Now,
so
how can I trust that?
There's a tabletop.
It's not really an act anymore after a while, then, is it? It's kind of lifestyle then.
It's kind of like a compulsive lying thing, which is a big problem. Yeah. Okay. So there's table topics to make you distrust your friends and family. And just as an addendum to the dating characters question, I'm going to specifically request that people send us, marry, kill, but this is a PG-13 podcast, so I'm going to call it bed, wet, or behead. Send us those, please, because I love playing that game. So, so community news and projects, of which I have one thing written down. KH-Vids User Awards. The nominations are closed now, which is exciting. That means that polls are going to be going up very soon, so you can vote for your friends or your enemies in the KH-Vids User Awards. So get excited. Get pumped for the User Awards.
Vote for Fearless.
Like right now? Are we supposed to get just, like, pumped right now?
Yeah, get pumped right now. Right now, Crowley! Yep. Anything else that anybody wants to bring up, or can we finish this very organized podcast?
I think we're done.
I think we're done also. So there are a lot of ways to participate in the KH-Vids podcast. You can submit questions to the KH-Vids podcast by filling out the form links with every episode of the podcast, or send an email to podcast@KH-Vids.net. You can submit to be a guest on the KH-Vids podcast by filling out the form links with every episode of the podcast. All you need is a Skype account, a microphone, and headphones, and we would love to have you. You can submit a topic to the KH-Vids podcast by filling out the form links in the sticky in the podcast section. Tell us what you want to hear us talk about. Tell us what spoiler cast you want us to do. Anything like that. And then finally, you can, of course, just leave a comment on the podcast threads. Tell us what you're expecting out of the D23 Expo, what worlds you want in Kingdom Hearts 3, and answer our user-submitted questions. That concludes episode number 98 of the KH-Vids podcast. Thank you all for listening, and have a Kingdom